In other words, any root which you cannot determine its exact value is called a surd. Hello guys, welcome to another episode. Today we shall be looking at surds, and the question is, what are surds? Before we go into that, let's think about powers and squares. So you and I know that 4 squared is equals to 16 because 4 times 4 is equals to 16. In the same vein, 5 squared is equals to 25 because 5 times 5 is equals to 25. So what if we want to reverse this? Yes, reverse in the sense that we want to know that number which, when it multiplies itself, gives this 16 or 25. We assume we don't know. What if we want to know? So what do? We use the notation, and the notation we use is what we call the square root, such that when we say the square root of 16 gives us 4 and square root of 25 gives us 5, right? That said, what about square root of 2? You agree with me now that this square root of 2 cannot give us a perfect number. So you and I know that this both 16 and 25 are now rational numbers because their square roots give us a perfect number. Now, if we want to get the square root of 2, you and I know that 1 times 1 is equals to 1 and 2 times 2 is equals to 4. That means in between 1 and 2, there exists a number, 1 and 2, in between 1 and 2, there exists a number such that when that number multiplies itself, it gives us 2. So now, how do we know the number? We're going to do what? Make a guess. Let's say, if we say 1.5 times 1.5, what's the answer? 2.25, right? It's too big. That's not what we want. We're looking for 2. If we come down as 1.4 times 1.4, what's the answer? 1.96, which is too small, and it's not what we're looking for, right? And if we come and say, let's increase this one a bit and say 1.4, say 42 times 1.42, it gives us 2.0164, which is still too big. And this is becoming sickening, right? Yes. So because we are tired of doing all this, back and forth, take your calculator, die square root of 2. This gives you 1.4142. And this continues. So this is like trying to find the value of pi, which will give you 3.141 continues. This number continues and it's not ending. So because this number is not ending, we therefore say that square root of 2 is irrational. So it is irrational in the sense that we cannot determine its value, and that takes us to definition of surd. So what is surd? A surd is any number which cannot be written as a rational number. In other words, any root which you cannot determine its exact value is called a surd. And that takes us to properties of surd. We shall look into properties of surd and know what to have. Just like with indices and logarithm, they've got laws, initial laws, and the laws of logarithm. The same way surd has got its law. We call them properties of surd. We shall look at those laws, familiarize ourselves with them, so that when we go into solving questions coming from surd, we will not be surprised as to where is this coming from. So guys, stick to us.